Can we do this?
I didn't actually do anything. What the fuck?
Welcome to yet another episode of something maybe Dangertainment related. This is our report for Spooky Empire Fall 2018. I hate that fucking Blu-ray.
The fact that you said fall, I went doop.
So this was held at the Caribe Royal Hotel Convention Area, wherever you call it, in Orlando, Florida. So I ended up going on both Saturday and Sunday. Colin just went Sunday, so he's just gonna shut up for a little while and I'm just gonna do all the talking. So before I get started with this, I do want to kind of preface everything with that I want to be honest about my experience with this. If you've seen my videos over the years, you know I've gone to this, I think this was like 7th, 8th year going. I've been going for quite a while. Not every show every year, but I mean, I've been going for a while now. Yeah, lately it's been every show. Even the makeup show that was because a hurricane canceled the real show.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've seen these videos, you know I'm a huge fan of Spooky and I love the stuff they do. But my experience Saturday was a little less than ideal for at least part of the day. And I kind of want to address not just some of the things that I experienced, but some of what I saw online in a weird way. So bear with me a little bit with this. The beginning was the parking situation. I guess a lot of people were upset about. There wasn't a lot of parking for the hotel. I guess they got a lot more people showing up than they expected. And parking was kind of in this grassy, sandy area and a bit away from the hotel itself. I saw quite a few people kind of upset about this. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. They actually had golf carts running people from the parking area to the front of the hotel. Given the circumstances, I think it was about as good as it could have been. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to park there. You could park somewhere else. That's just the closest option. But yeah, the golf cart thing was actually really cool, and I'll get back into that a little bit later because I utilized them a little more. And then probably my biggest issue with the con was just the getting in there process. I had bought my ticket ahead of time, and the line to get in took nearly 2 hours. I think probably about 2 hours. It was actually a nice day outside, so I wasn't complaining too much. I understand some people with small children were probably a little more anxious about the weather because it is Florida. It is basically summer here until mid-January. But anyway, so basically it took a while to get in, and that sucked, but you know, it's one of those growing pain things. I know it's a new location for the con. But then got inside finally, and I had a 1 p.m. photo op with Sid Haig in his Captain Spaulding makeup, and I basically was rushing to go find it. I saw where the photo area was located on the map, but I was having a little trouble finding the right line to get into. Eventually I was told that the line there was for the Gillian Anderson photo shoot happening ahead of time, and that everybody for Sid Haig should just kind of wait off to the side. Eventually that line for Gillian dispersed, but they never really told all of us waiting off to the side to get in line, so a bunch of other people got in ahead of time, so that was a bit of a cluster. But the resulting photo, I am very happy with. So the photo op, I mean, it was very quick. It was basically go up, take the picture, get the hell out. But I know Sid Haig is getting up there in years, and I'm probably not going to have many more opportunities to meet him at cons. And I figured I might as well just kind of go all in with his con appearance here. So after that, my mission was to go get autographs. So I ended up going to Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp. She was like ridiculously nice. She was giving everybody like a ton of time. She didn't have a huge line, but she was like, you know, giving everybody a lot of interaction at her booth. She seemed genuinely excited and happy to be there. And I know, I mean, to skip ahead, you met her on day 2, and I think you had a similar experience. So that was actually a pretty nice autograph to get. And I think I just kind of wandered around the vendor room for a little bit. I ended up picking up this Dr. Decker mask over here from Trick or Treat Studios. It's one of the masks that I've been kind of eyeing for a while, so I figured I might as well bite the bullet and pick it up. And yeah, it's a pretty cool mask. I like that it actually has a real zipper, and the back actually like laces up. It has some eyelets in it. I think it's a pretty cool little replica there. And I did also, I don't have it because it's in my truck, but they had those scare fresheners from Trick or Treat Studios, so I picked up the Sam Lollipop one. And that's hanging from my rearview mirror now. The smell is completely gone after less than a week, but
I forgot to pick up some of those, damn.
Well, They don't work very well as air fresheners, but they look cool.
I was going to say, that's all I want.
So yeah, I didn't really stop anywhere else in the vending room. I kind of breezed through a lot of it. As I mentioned, some of the stuff earlier today had kind of annoyed me, and I wasn't really in the mood to spend like I might normally be at a con. I was kind of just on a mission to do the things I wanted to do, and Trick or Treat Studios is kind of always on that list anyway. So then I decided to go get in line for Sid Haig. I saw he was back at his booth, and I went to the end of the line, and there was one of the spooky attendants there. He said that the line was... He made it sound like it was on the other side of this wall, which was basically the vendor room. It's basically behind... Yeah, there's a wall behind Sid Haig, and the vendor room was on the opposite side. He made it sound like there was a line out there as an extension of the line in his queue. I went over there was obviously nothing. And I went back out to the hallway, and I saw a line that was going in the entryway to the autograph area. I asked the volunteer there where the Sid Haig line was, and she was like, oh, go back inside. I'm like, well, no, they just sent me out here. She's like, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Go back inside. She didn't know what she was talking about. As I was walking back in, I noticed there was another line on the other side of that door full of people holding little Captain Spaulding pops. And I'm like, that's the line. And I'm sorry, PD, I don't mean to bring up pops. I will not mention them again for another couple minutes. And that was a bit of a wait, too. I think it was at least an hour before I was able to get in for Sid. But once again, that was kind of one of my main autograph goals for this con. So it was worthwhile to me. I picked up a kind of standard 8x10, just Captain Spaulding. I think this is from Rejects. It looks like a Rejects. He's all dirty and bloody. So.
Yeah.
But the main thing of getting Sid Haig to sign anything, if you could Vanna White this shit for me, was to get him to sign my work in progress Holliston cast and guest poster. So I had him sign somewhere on there. Oh, right here. He's in the season 2 finale, and basically in the season 2 finale, he says, fuck you to Joe. And I remember hearing Joe talk about it later, how he was like, that was the coolest thing ever. Sid Haig said, fuck you to me. And I'm like, I want that on my poster. So I asked him to write, fuck you. So that's what it says. And right next to Sid was Bill Moseley. And I already have my 8x10 from Bill up on the wall up there, but I needed him to sign the poster as well. So he actually had no line. I went straight from Sid right over to Bill. It was seconds between autographs, and got, I think he's a little further down there, but basically he wrote "You're retarded," which is his character's kind of catchphrase, I guess. I don't know why you would try to sell your low rent goods on cable ads by telling people they're retarded, but that's what he does on the show. I like bringing the Holliston poster because it's not like a super well-known thing, but I feel like a lot of the people that are on it enjoy doing it or enjoy their guest spots on it, and a lot of them are friends of Adam Green anyway.
Well, I mean, not to cut in, but...
You're not allowed to talk yet.
It's also, when you got, like, Sid Haig, his entire booth is Captain Spaulding, with a few other things that he's done. So when you bring somebody something that they don't even have a picture of, that makes, one, you're bringing something unique for them that's not, oh, this again, next. It's something that they just go, oh my god, it's a rarity, but someone else likes this. And it's also fun to see, like, you're introducing it to other people, you're introducing it, and it's so funny when you get the actor talking about it, and it gets somebody from the table over to go, huh?
So Sid was commenting on the fact that poster, I think I've talked about in other videos, but I basically made it myself. I looked, and I don't think Adam had any Holliston posters for sale when I was trying to get one. And then even if he did, they weren't kind of what I wanted, which is just more of an autograph collecting thing. But anyway, so I wanted something just really to get signed, so I stuck the label on it, had them printed off at like Office Max or whatever, and that's what I've been having people sign. And I think Sid might have thought it was an official product because he was like, really? There's just a name on this poster? But as soon as he like mentioned Holliston, like Bill perked up because he was doing nothing, I guess, at his table. And then I brought it over to him. He made some comment like, thank you for keeping the fandom alive or something like that. I'm really hoping a season 3 finally happens once Joe stops making movies in Serbia and, I don't know, Adam stops crying. That'll never happen.
That's the thing, is like you see their reaction to it. It's like you see, you hear countless stories about Captain Spaulding, or Chop Top. There's only so many times you can hear that same story over and over in a day. But when you bring something like that in, you get the actor actually wanting to talk about it, wanting to talk about the fandom, and how they got into it or how you get into it. And that's the small fan interaction that it's so fun. You bring those interesting tidbits.
But people, you have to take this with a grain of salt. This is the man that brought Alligator 2 to Kane Hodder to sign.
I also brought him the custom Kane photo that has him playing all the villains.
That was just stroking his ego.
But it's still pretty fucking awesome.
After that point, that was kind of putting me on a high note. That was one of the big things I wanted to accomplish at this convention. So I was actually feeling much better than I was earlier in the day. So I decided I was going to go ahead and do, I guess this is my third attempt at cosplay at a Sabuki convention, which was my Savini Jason that I did previously at Dragon Con this year, and I made some upgrades too in the months in between. I actually had that in one of my last videos talking about the upgrades to that costume and just that costume in general. Basically took the golf cart, guy brought me right back to my truck, got changed, and he was on like a couple runs later. He comes back and sees me sitting there in my Jason gear, and he's like, "Oh, guess you need to ride back, huh?" So brought me right back to the con, and figured just for showing it off, I'd bring this guy out. This was...
I want to see this.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do the giant pig sticker fork thing that he has, so I wanted to make my own weapon. So I made a burning machete. So basically this is, it's a cheap plastic machete handle here with a battery in it and some tape. And this whole blade is acrylic that I cut and ground and sanded and then painted, and then I'm running an LED strip across the top here to make it glow. So this was a lot easier, I think, to run through a con than having a big old, 6 foot, 7 foot tall pitchfork. I think it worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out.
That is neat, because I only saw it, in pictures in one video?
So I was pretty happy with how that went. The big problem with that costume is that the mask is very tight on my head, and this one is just eye holes, and it's not the... Shut up. It's not the hood like I had previously at Dragon Con. The hood I had at Dragon Con was really cheap and flimsy, and I really didn't think it was going to last. So this is a much thicker latex mask that covers most of my face. I'm running a power cord out through my right eye into the hockey mask to illuminate those eyes. Basically every last inch of me is covered in either clothing or latex or silicone or something. So my vision's fogging up inside the mask. I keep having to stop to clean out the eyes so I can keep going and not crash into people. And even still, most of my vision is just the vague outline of people throughout the hallways, and I can barely hear out of that mask, and somebody asked me questions, and I realized I just sound like Kenny from South Park. But, you know what? I had a hell of a good time doing that. It was fun. I had a lot of fun just walking around. I think I walked around for a couple hours in it.
Oh, cool.
It felt like I did.
I didn't know that.
And then I realized it was 7 o'clock, and I had to get home and walk my dog, so I called it a night. So then, that was the end of day 1. And then day 2... you came along, so you can actually talk now.
Well, like he said at the beginning, I love Spooky. I've been going pretty much at least once, if not twice a year since '09. We get to the convention. The line wasn't that long for me standing outside.
I had barely gotten in line and you were walking through the door.
Yeah.
I'm cutting out a section of this video where we discuss the debacle around the Elvira Pop exclusive at Spooky Empire. As I was editing the footage, I realized neither of us were there when the drama went down, and neither of us were really interested in this exclusive anyway, and it felt a little hypocritical to keep it in the video. I'm only mentioning it here because it's kind of needed for context throughout jokes we make for the rest of the episode.
I get in, I'm doing the vendor sweep.
And I'm in line for the first autograph of the day because I didn't have time to do it the previous day. Or the patience to do it the previous day. So this year was a big X-Files reunion at Spooky, which I think that combined with the pop brought in some people that maybe, and not to be like, oh, you don't belong, because that's bullshit. But maybe some people that might not have done Spooky otherwise, people who aren't there for, the people from Devil's Rejects or Sleepaway Camp or,
You came because you were a fan of the X-Files.
So anyway, there were a lot of people from the cast of X-Files there, and Robert Patrick was one of them. And I'm not one of those people that was ever really into X-Files, but my all-time favorite movie of all time, I just said all-time twice, who cares? It's Terminator 2. I've loved that movie. It was the first radar movie I ever saw in my life, And it's always just had a special place in my heart. And I got the opportunity to stand in front of the T-1000, and that was literally terrifying. He even said to me, he kind of looked at me, and he was just like, I was judging by my age, I guess. He was like, so you saw that movie when you were a little kid, huh? I'm like, yeah. Now you're standing in front of the T-1000. Yeah. It's kind of terrifying. But he was incredibly nice. He gave everybody a lot of time at his booth, which that seems to be a common theme this year.
But that's the thing is, like, that's what also adds to this is Robert Patrick was conversing with everybody. He took his time to talk to everybody. And you want that from a convention. Yeah. You don't want the, oh, look, Terminator. Thanks.
And the thing is, I think in my mind, I wasn't expecting it from him. Because to me, I think anybody who was in Terminator 2, with maybe the exception of like those twins that were also in Gremlins 2, but in my mind, from, the time I first saw that movie, he's obviously a massive star who would not give a crap about anybody simply by the fact that he was in this film. And I just wasn't expecting him to actually be willing to give people that time of day. I always go in expecting the guest to just kind of be like, yep, sign, bye, thank you for the money. And I'm kind of okay with that, just because that's the most I feel like I can really expect out of somebody.
Depending upon.
So it's always above and beyond to me when they actually do. I mean, it's good. I like that they do it. I feel like it should be the norm. But I never go in just thinking that has to be that way, because I assume us peon normal people are so far beneath these guys that the fact that they even look at us is probably taxing on their soul.
Well, also, I mean, yeah, I understand them doing the whole sign, buy, sign, but also, you don't want that because you're meeting somebody you love since a kid.
Yeah.
So you had to have gone in with a little bit of, I hope he's not an ass. Because we all hear stories about everybody.
He's the villain in that movie. If he was an asshole, it would be in character.
Okay, he's not going to be the one that doesn't even look up. He just looks, what's the name? Phil. Like he wasn't.
Okay, Bill, here's your photo.
But you also gave him another reason to converse with you. Go on.
So, after I was planning to do Savini Jason kind of both days originally as a costume, but after realizing how hot and tiring it was the first day, I wanted to do something a little more casual, and I've been kind of working on a Madman Mars cosplay, and I wasn't sure I was ready to bring it out, but I decided to go ahead with it. So I had not just goofy overalls on, which I should mention first and foremost, whoever invented overalls is a masochist, because that is just a piece of clothing designed to give you a permanent wedgie. What the fuck? Looking at you, 1632 farmer. But anyway, so besides that, I did some, the first time I'd really ever attempted like special effects-y kind of makeup, or whatever you want to call it. So I had like stuff on my nose to make it look like the end was chopped off. I had the scar going through. Yeah, I think it was this eye. Because I still have like a burn underneath my eye from removing the makeup on it. I thought I was going to leave myself with the actual scar. But yeah, so he was like commenting on that and like saying it was a good job, which I don't know. I don't think it really was, but hey, it was kind of cool.
I finally gave up waiting because while he's staying in line, I'm kind of walking around the vendor room, walking around the autograph room, kind of seeing who has a short line, who has a long enough line. I can just jump in and he can hand me my autograph book in mid-line. But jumped in Sid's line twice, and that got, every time I get to the front, he'd still be in the same spot. So I jumped out. Finally, I asked the attendant, jumped in the line with him, and I got another page in my Alex Pardee book signed. He really loved the art. He enjoyed everything. He took a picture before and after he signed it, and I get the normal, oh, did you draw this? Are you Alex? No, I wish. And it was just fun talking about that, and also, my folks were Scorpion fans when the show was on, so I talked to him a little about that, the show cancellation, sadly, but he was just more talkative and more towards his fans than I thought he was. He wasn't sitting, he was standing up and conversating. He offered photos with everybody. He was just very a down-to-earth, nice guy.
So after that, I ended up going to an area of the autograph room. I don't think I even could have found a way to on Saturday. Basically, on one side of the room, they'd had David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's lines. They're kind of like crossing at an angle with Robert Patrick's line. And then in the little corner over here, basically blocked off from the rest of the floor by those lines, were a couple other X-Files actors, including Mitch Pileggi. I don't remember how his name's actually pronounced. But, once again, don't care about X-Files. I care that he was Horace Pinker in the Wes Craven classic Shocker. Also known as like the third time Wes Craven basically made A Nightmare on Elm Street and called it a different name. The fourth time being Music of the Heart. But anyway, I don't know why everything I get signed on pictures now has to be a Holliston reference or a Adam and Joe Extended Universe reference. But they did their Movie Crypt podcast. They did a commentary, an unofficial commentary for Shocker. And for whatever reason, they kept bringing up the line that he says fairly late in the film, which is, "Hey, what the fuck?" I can't even give it justice, so I'm not going to try saying it like he does. "Hey, what the fuck?" Yeah, pretty much like that. Except better. Yeah. So I was like, could you write that on the picture for me, please? Because I love that line. I didn't want to explain the whole reason behind it, but like, I just told him I love the line. And he's like, "Really? You don't like..." And he like started quoting other things from the movie. I'm like, those are technically better lines, but I really like that one. And he's like, "Okay." So he wrote it on there for me. So that made me happy. I'll consider that a success for my autographs.
Mm-hmm. Well, he went to meet Shocker.
Can we get a censor bar up here? Yeah, there you go. Why does she have tits?
I don't know.
That's the weirdest question I've ever asked in my
That's
life.
the first time I actually noticed it, though. Is that bad?
I don't know. Okay.
But while he was meeting Horace Pinker, I went to meet Felissa Rose from Sleepaway
As seen
Camp.
previously in this episode.
Yeah. Obviously, I had to censor because he got something that was PG. Mine is a little XXX. And she knows Adam Green. She knows...
She was in Hatchet 4, or Victor Crowley.
But I literally showed her this, and she grabs it. She walked all down her Sleepaway Camp reunion row, showing everybody, talking about it. She loved this. And it was just... I've never met her. I just heard that she was nice. I didn't speak to her very much at first because she walked away, took my book. I'm like, where are you going? But she loved it. She loves the artwork. She signed it. She asked about anything. And she asked me a fun question. It was, "Why don't you get it personalized?" I said, "I don't want to. It's my autograph book." And it's just like, why get something personalized when I will never sell this? I put too much money into this to actually sell.
Plus, it'd be weird if it said "to Colin" on every single page.
Yeah, it'd be getting annoying. I mean, I can deal with it with one page. And it was fun just having her just talk about the artwork and all that. So it was fun. And then she asked for a photo, which was weird. We showed the photo with the book. And it's funny that she always takes one nice photo to kind of like, "Oh, show the family." And then like the con photo where she does the Angela face. So that was always kind of cool. And then after that, I walked over to Sid's line because he finally came back from, I think, relaxation, resting. And I previously met him in 2010 at our local Jacksonville con called Fiction. And I was helping, I was a volunteer at that, and I met him. Didn't really talk much because I just think he didn't have a good time. But I was able to meet him again. I had something I wanted him to sign. And so I had him sign I think it's the Devil's Rejects page of Alex's book. He knew exactly who drew it. He thought it was cool as well. And it hit me as I'm standing there talking to him going, I didn't even want to mention anything about how much I enjoy him, how much all this. It's just, I wanted to talk about his day and everything. Because he just, I don't know, maybe it's just dealing with conventions. I looked at him and go, he looks so frail and he's doing this for all his fans. And it's like, I wonder how many fans truly take time out of their, getting all this stuff signed to actually look at him and appreciate that he's at this age, he's frail, and he's doing this for us.
And not just doing the con, but like, he had the lowest prices I've ever seen anybody sign for at a convention. Like, for an 8x10, it was $20 from one of his 8x10s. Mm-hmm. To get anything else signed, it was $10.
Bring your own item was 10, and then pictures free, limited to 4. And it's just, he is the nicest guy there. And it's like, how many people are taking that in and not just going, oh, I loved you, bye.
And I'm sure, like, you know, he probably made a fair amount of money between, he also seemed to have a decent sized line, and people were all getting multiple things.
Yeah.
But, like, if you put those prices up, I'm assuming you're definitely not doing it for the money. I'm guessing that, you know, it really was just doing it for the fans. Or it felt like it, at least.
Yeah. It was fun talking to him about how his con days were going. He recently is in the newest Areoscope short with Adam Green, so I asked about that. Just asked about how...
What's it like playing a pumpkin? Did you have to wait until after midnight to turn into one? I made a Cinderella reference on my channel. That is a first.
He stood in line for Bill Moseley for me while I stood in Sid's line. Got into Bill Moseley's line. And I met him on a couple occasions. And so this one was kind of quick. I handed him the book. It's like, my go-to is just hand the book, go through the whole, I'm not Alex, this isn't my art, blah, 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 feel. And try and do a conversation, but it was just sign, and he handed it back to me. And I was like... And I mean, I can't, it's a Sunday. I mean, I know they're going through crap throughout the entire weekend and everything, so I can't be too mad. Plus, I've met him multiple occasions, so it's not a big deal to me anymore. But it's just like, after everybody else's reaction, I get one. I'm glad it was the last one that just went, alright, thank you.
I think that's also why he didn't have much of a line. He was very efficient.
Yeah.
I did finally find out that he signs his autograph without very legible L's in his first name. Because I honestly thought he was mad at me when I got the first autograph from him because it just says Bye Mosley. But I think that's just how he signs things.
Yeah.
So after that, it was vendor room time.
Echo, scary. Low echo, scary. Medium echo, boring. As he went on Saturday, I always told him, hey, can you look for the booth that we've been hitting the past at least 2 trips?
There is a booth that's constantly at Spooky you've gone to a lot called Grindhouse Video. They actually have a store out in Tampa, and I got to go there like about a month and a half ago, and holy cow, that thing, if you are in Tampa, look them up because it is glorious. It is just a thing of beauty. And I think they bring a large portion of their store to the con, so you get a lot of the same products, but just having the space to go and look at all these beautifully arranged cult horror movies and things, and he has posters all over the wall, is badass.
I always ask him to look for stuff since I was going to come and I was kind of still budgeting.
I didn't.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I knew why now. But first thing I went for was the Scream Factory edition of Return of the Living Dead 2. It was at a decent price that was actually cheap. And so I was able to pick that up and upgrade. I was happy about that.
Can't you just wait till the high-end versions of Rave to the Grave and Necropolis to come out?
What are those? I don't know what you're talking about. And right next to that, I swear I probably could have burned the booth down with how fast I grabbed the damn movie, is a movie I grew up with called Great Hysteria. I never knew this was hitting Blu-ray. Well, I saw it, but I thought it was one of those Amazon,
It's a full moon?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, it's full moon.
Damn!
Full Moon used to make kid films.
Might have been the first full moon movie ever. Who knew?
It was for me too. Yeah, I remember that, and there was like a Pet Shop movie that I don't remember what it was called. It was like all these regular animals turned into like mythical creatures.
That sounds really familiar. Yeah.
It was that was like a trailer of every freaking VHS you saw. But I picked this up because, so many fun memories. I'm hoping they do the other 2 sequels. At least part 2, 3. I can understand why they don't do.
Man, I hadn't thought of that movie since like 3rd grade. I saw it there, I'm like, holy shit, I totally forgot about that. I was in that around the time Jurassic Park came out, they're putting We're Back and that, and it was just a video store staple for me.
Yep. So that was a must grab. And as I'm grabbing stuff, we're talking to 2 other guys about, all the stuff that's there. And in the middle of our conversation, all 3 of us are talking. I'm looking at movies to grab. And he goes, you need to pick up Phenomenon. I'm like, what? He's like, just pick it up, grab it. So I gave in to peer pressure and picked it up. He's been on a Dario Argento fix, and I'm kind of getting into watching them. The podcast we both listen to, Now Playing, they're currently going through a few of Dario Argento's films. But I always heard about this because I think Synopsis Films also did a steelbook, and I've been procrastinating on it.
I had a friend give me a copy of that last Christmas, and I loved it so much, I went out the next week and bought the soundtrack on vinyl.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a good... I was sitting there listening to that soundtrack playing Castlevania. It's fucking amazing. But anyway, so that, and Synapse put out Suspiria on Blu-ray too. And that is a fucking beautiful, beautiful Blu-ray to watch. I swear after I watched Suspiria on Blu-ray, the rest of the world looks sepia tone.
With watching Labyrinth for the first time about a year ago, and you hear about all the other movies, and Jennifer Connelly was in this movie, and I'm hearing the cast Donald Pleasance. I'm like, I gotta track this down. I lollygagged enough. I finally picked it up. It's spooky. All the stuff that I wanted to buy wasn't there, so splurged a little on that. Plus, it's Synapse Films, another company that we spend money at.
This wonderful renaissance of trash movies being given beautiful, beautiful releases. That's not a trash movie, but in general, these low-budget horror films, cult films, just... Yeah.
Speaking of trash, low-budget films, I also picked out...
You show off the rest of your collection?
Yeah, I would show off Skin Deep.
That's a classic.
I also picked up because... I don't know why, but I saw this on Amazon and I wanted to kind of just pick it up. It was cheap. I was like, I'll wait after Spooky, see if I find it. Evil Tunes. It's supposed to be like Evil Dead meets Roger Rabbit. So I wanted to pick it up. I was talking to the dealer about it's a blind buy, and he says it's also by the guy who did Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I'm like, I've never seen that. He says, grab it, you're buying both of them. I'm like, okay.
That's the best sales pitch I've ever heard in my life.
And I've also been wanting to buy this just because it just sounds so cheesy and it's fucking stupid. And it has the late Gunnar Hansen. And Linnea Quigley.
He was in every movie with Chainsaw in the title.
No, he wasn't.
I think he was in a Sears instructional thing probably at some point.
That'd be fucking funny.
Proper Chainsaw Kid with Gunnar Hansen.
So I picked those up. And that was pretty much most of my spending at Spooky. Besides, right before we left, I wanted to go back, just last minute buying. I went and checked out their cheap-ass DVDs, their cheap-ass Blu-rays. I couldn't find anything except for one that he's been hunting for.
So, as you mentioned, Now Playing is doing the Argento retrospective, or at least the Three Mothers retrospective, which is now 4 movies, which is weird. But
and then they're doing a few others.
And Phenomenon was thrown in because it's kind of it's not one of the Mothers movies, but it's very much in that vein. But basically, the friend that sent me Phenomenon has basically been giving me crap that I need to get in touch with my ancestors' homeland's horror movies and watch more giallo films and things like that. So I decided I watched, I've loved Suspiria for years. I recently watched Inferno and had mixed feelings, but that song at the end is amazing. But yeah, I had to pick up the last of the Three Mothers that's out on some form of home video at the moment. So $5, Mother of Tears. I've heard that's not good, but I want to finish the trilogy, and I picked up a couple more of his movies to kind of continue on with, but I just wanted to get the Mothers out of the way. Yeah, I figured your spending was done after that. That's weird. So basically, I came across a booth that I'd been to back at the Spooky Empire event that was postponed until Christmas because of stupid hurricanes. I had bought, I think it was a gingerbread man. This is a roundabout way of getting to the story. But anyway, I bought the gingerbread man. They had it in a Bed Bath & Beyond bag to carry around the con with me. I felt a little less than manly carrying that around. So I found this booth that was selling tote bags called Pallbearer Press. And that tote bag is a Texas Chainsaw bag. I think it was Texas Chainsaw 2 bag that I picked up. And I love it. It's a fantastic bag. It's held up really well in the years since. And I just love the design of it. And I've kind of been waiting for them to come back to Spooky. And as soon as I got up there, I saw they had another tote bag with a Halloween 3 logo on it. And I asked if they had it as a shirt because it would have been a really cool shirt. They didn't. So I really didn't need another bag. So I picked up the image as a patch. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna put it on. But I like it. They that kind of 8-bit looking pumpkin, Halloween 3, and it's got the final processing test subject on it. I thought that was cool. I thought that was, I love Halloween 3. I know some people hate it, but if I was going to rank my favorite Halloween sequels, that might go above some other people's favorite. And then the other thing I picked up was this little pin that is like, kind of reminds me of like a tattoo art of praying hands, but it's the creature from the Black Lagoon. It says creature on it.
Huh.
And I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cool. I saw that artwork, and I think they had it on some different things like shirts and stuff, but that was really inexpensive, and I thought it was really neat. Kind of wish I would have bought more from them, because they are a vendor that I hope comes back, and I know by not spending a lot of money with them, that kind of decreases the chance. But I know they do a lot of conventions. But if you ever, are at a con that they're vending at, I highly recommend checking them out, because I can attest to the quality of their stuff as well as just the coolness factor. So there was another booth, and I don't really remember the name of the vendor. Was it like London 1888?
Oh yes, London 1888.
Okay. So they had a lot of cool shirts and some hats and pins and stickers and patches and things. And, there was cool stuff. I wasn't really compelled to buy any of those just at the moment, but when I saw, at first it was the patches, but then I found out it was a sticker of this Freddy glove. And I don't want to get into it, but I kind of had plans around this artwork. I was trying to get a photo to replicate this pose with Freddy's glove, and when I saw it as a sticker for a couple bucks, I was like, I'll just buy that, and that will be the reference I need. And then, last but not least at the con, I did pick up this guy here, Texas Chainsaw 2 mask. It was at the same vendor that had the Dr. Decker mask. Oddly enough, the guys that usually sell a lot of Trick or Treat Studio stuff weren't there this year. I was kind of hoping they would be, because I wanted to pick up a bunch of different Trick or Treat Studio things. I was kind of holding off for expecting them to be vending. But,
oh God, imagine. We'd be doing a car trip just for that frickin' buy.
I was wanting to get this one. There are a couple more Texas Chainsaw ones that came out with this year I need to pick up still, but we gotta mod this one and take the mouth out so it's more of a prop replica than just a mask. That's what I did with the original Leatherface too, but yeah, I was pretty happy with that. So after that, really wasn't a whole lot. I kind of walked around a little bit, but kind of did everything we wanted to.
Yeah, we did everything we wanted, and we both were kind of feeling like we both went in, doing our stuff, wanted to get the autographs and spending out of the way. Then we were both going to go back to the truck, change, and come back cosplaying. He saw Jason already. He was already cosplaying as Mars, so he got his in. Me, I was going to come back as Myers 18. But when you already walk in there and you see one every time you turn a corner, to me, I was just like, I think it'll be okay if I don't.
I realized actually, it just hit me now, that I couldn't have changed into the Jason costume if I wanted to, because I couldn't get those fingernails off. I would have never been able to put the Jason gloves on, because I couldn't get the fingernails off my hand. Super glue is not the way to attach fake fingernails, by the way. They stayed on too well.
Yeah, we're in the Red Robin parking lot.
I mean, it was better than when we walked into Best Buy and I was terrifying small children.
Oh, that was hilarious.
The biggest problem was I had these claws, and then I didn't want to take the makeup off my face because I didn't want to be stabbing myself in the face with the claws. So I was basically stuck in the costume until I could finally get the nails off most of my fingers. I still had to wait till I got home to get my thumbs undone for whatever reason. Those stuck like a mother. But I think that's a learning experience for me with wearing that kind of stuff to a convention.
Yeah. Before we did leave, we did go to the other side of the convention where a guy I've been friends with ever since I went in, I'm going to say 13. His name is Eric. Everyone who's watching this probably goes to Spooky. You know him as Otis Driftwood. He actually had a booth with I didn't catch the name of his friends that played Spalding or Baby. But they finally had a photo booth up, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it's just fun seeing someone go from being a con goer to being an official part of that con.
There's one thing, a lot of other cons have cosplay guests, and that's not something Spooky does, but this was kind of the first foray I've ever seen into having official cosplay guests. There was one time where the guy who played Otis was wasn't he working at Bill Moseley's booth, and it was really awkward.
Yeah.
And they also had, beyond that, I don't even know if you ever got back there, but beyond that there was an It photo op booth, doing kind of the exact same thing. They have their own backdrop. They had a
didn't-
Georgie mannequin. They had an It or a Pennywise cosplayer.
Is that the one that was walking around the convention?
I don't know. There were a couple walking around the convention,
Okay.
but it was literally, if you went behind where they were,
Oh, you should have said something.
I thought you saw it. I don't know why.
No,
I didn't.
I never found the big ass Audrey 2 either.
Oh, that wasn't there the second day. It was right in front of the entrance to the vendor room. There was an effects booth on the right. We kind of touched on it in the beginning of this, but I will say Sunday was so much more relaxed than Saturday was. Well, I'm guessing it sounded like Friday and Saturday were both pretty congested. The hotel was a new design, or a new one for Spooky. And I think they ended up with more people showing up than they thought. And the way it was shaped, it was basically like narrow hallways in a U around everything else. Like there was some stuff on the outsides, and there was a lot of the main areas on the inside. The tattoo stuff, the vendor room, the guests were all in this inner section of the U. And on Saturday, just the hallways were just too narrow to accommodate that many people comfortably.
You got Gillian, you got David,
Yeah.
you got Elvira, all in one fucking area.
But on Sunday, it felt everything flowed really well. It was easy to walk around.
It was like a regular
I could
con day.
see this time, so maybe that was helping things. I don't know. But I think a lot of the things on the earlier days was a limitation of the venue itself.
Yeah. I have nothing against Spooky, I have nothing against PD, so hopefully you don't take this the wrong way. I think honestly, no matter what, this weekend was going to be a shit show just because you bring in a exclusive Funko Pop.
I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
I think if it does, it's gonna be like the Tiki Mo. It's gonna be a pre-order only. I think the con was good. Every Spooky, there is a guest. People loved it. People who've been to this con knows what the issues were. It's not every year that this will happen. It was because of a certain thing.
In all the years I've been to Spooky, this is a major outlier in terms of anything significant being wrong, really.
Yeah.
Usually it's minor annoyances.
Yeah, it's just
and,
like,
you know,
people BO, people congestion in line.
there was still that, but...
Or, so-and-so was a jerk because he said hi to my mom and not me. Some shit like that.
But I will say this, like, not to be one of those jerks that's just like, oh yeah, positive mental attitude bullshit, because I think some of that is whatever. But anyway, I will say I realized about halfway through Saturday that the reason I was having a less than great time was because I was trying to fight things I couldn't fight. I was trying to push against the grain of what was going on and just not accepting the fact that, just if you go with what's happening, you're still going to have a good time. And once I realized that, it was a ton of fun, as it always is. And then the Sunday was even better because a lot of those things that were a problem were long gone. Like I said at the beginning of this, I wanted to be honest with my opinions on things. There definitely were flaws. Spooky is well aware that there were flaws. They have been public about understanding that there were problems. I don't feel like I'd be doing an honest review if I didn't bring them up. But on the same hand, I don't want anybody to get the impression that I didn't have fun or that I wouldn't highly recommend this convention.
Oh, yeah.
It is a horror nerd's wet dream. And some of the things that, were even bad, like the wait for Sid, which is unavoidable. Sid had a lot of people in his line on Saturday. That's just the nature of the beast. But the people I was hanging out with, strangers, people I'd never talked to before probably, unless I randomly spoke to them at another con. But we had some great conversations about horror movies and books and all kinds of stuff. You kind of just have to love that you're in a place surrounded by people and you have at least a major thing in common with pretty much everybody there. And then you can just start these conversations on obscure horror movies or obscure, horror books or audiobooks in our case.
And that's how these start. It's that's how you meet friends. In a year or two, we might be going, yeah, we met so-and-so that we met 2 years ago. It's that's how you build friendship. It's just those random standing in line conversations or meeting at a freaking booth buying movies. That's what going to these is all about.
As much as this con's grown, and I wish I could look up the number of people that were there the first year I was there versus the number of people that were there this year.
Oh,
Because I've never seen those statistics publicly, but
it's
like
always changing depending upon the guest too.
yeah, I'd love to see the progression over the years of how much bigger this con has gotten.
Yeah.
Especially for the October event. But like, you know, because I've been adding Dragon Con to my yearly traditions basically, and you know, it's such a different beast of like, here you do see people, and even if you don't know them or probably never even talk to them, you recognize them because you've seen them twice a year, every year for a while or whatever. But like Dragon Con, there were people I was specifically trying to find and meet that were not guests of the con, but just people going. Never saw them. Or I saw them at a distance, and before I could say anything to them, they'd vanished.
With me, whenever it doesn't fall on the same weekend, which it's been doing lately, I try and go to Crypticon, and I mean, that's a small convention compared to Spooky, but still, I mean, I go more now for my friends than I do for the guests, and I love hanging out with them. I don't remember the following week what happens, but that means I had a shit ton of fun. Binge drinking, woo!
I did make the resolution next year at Dragon Con I'm drinking more. The next Spooky, because I actually have the guide sitting here telling me when the next Spooky is, how convenient, is March 22nd to 24th. That's back at the Wyndham, back home for Spooky. So we know what we're going to get with the hotel this time. That's a fun venue. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's that much smaller than the one we were at this time.
No.
But it probably is. But yeah, Wyndham's a good place. I think that about wraps it up. I have no clue how the hell I'm going to edit this train wreck together into an actual video. But I'll find some way to do it.
It's good, and then it goes downhill once Lily ends Spooky.
Have you ever seen a train go down the tracks, then it derails, and then somehow it jumps back on the track, but then like plows through like 10 school buses, and then derails again, then does a loop-de-loop, and then goes into outer space?